We're going to end up separating you two. We're going to have to separate you two. Ready? Welcome. Welcome to the American Physical Therapy Fellowship in Higher Education Leadership ceremony. My name is Tara Jo Manel, and I'm the director of the fellowship program. And along with Agatha Johnson, we'd like to welcome you to this celebration. Welcome to all our fellows, mentors, family, friends, and loved ones here and live on our live stream. Welcome to you in the back. First, thank you to the fellow support networks. We know that there have been times this year when your special fellow had to decline an invitation, sneak off to a quiet room, travel from home, and make time where it didn't exist. The fellows appreciate your understanding as well as you picking up the slack. But not only do they appreciate it, our profession appreciates it. The investment in these fellows' leadership will benefit the entire field at large. So along with the fellows, we thank your support network for the support they've given you in order to complete this program this year. The fellowship was formerly known as the Education Leadership Institute, or ELI, and it just celebrated its 10th anniversary. It was the first non-clinical fellowship accredited by the American Board of Physical Therapy, Residency, and Fellowship Education. This program has benefited from APTA member leadership, volunteerism, and the contribution of those individuals have been embedded throughout its lifetime. From those who created the vision of this program, partnered with staff, went on to develop and grow the program into what you see today. The program leadership reflects the vision and expertise of those members in our federated model within the APTA. And at the close of this ceremony, this official torch will be passed to the Academy of Education, and they will continue to shepherd this program and provide its future opportunities and leadership. You all signed up for a program to learn about current and future needs of the profession and profession's educational community. 1 year ago, you didn't know what you didn't know. And now you do sometimes think you know even less. But most times you realize how enlightened you've become and surely have recognized the value of learning from one another. And that will not end with this program. You've demonstrated your dedication to excellence and a willingness to grow in knowledge and action by completing leadership projects focused on improving your home institutions and the profession at large. Equally, your institutions have invested in you. In some cases through tuition, but for all of you, your institution committed to ensure local mentors would be available to help you navigate your own institutional culture, and those individuals invested in mentoring you and in your daily leadership roles. And we thank them and recognize them for the role they've played in your program. The fellowship is designed for fellows in training to connect theory with practice and enable direct application of knowledge learned through the fellowship to everyday work in physical therapy education and performance. Before we award your certificates, though, I would like to introduce your keynote speaker, Terry Nordstrom. Dr. Nordstrom, Terry to you, is an emeritus professor in the Department of Physical Therapy at Samuel Merritt University in Oakland, California. During his 30 years at Samuel Merritt University, that is not what gets you emeritus. We all know it's a recognition and an honor given after you've retired to recognize your long-term contributions, both to the profession and to the institution at large, which Terry has done. He was an adjunct faculty member, director of clinical education, department chair from 2003 to 2012, assistant academic vice president from 2012 to 2015, and vice president of enrollment and student services. Terry also has 24 years of clinical and leadership excellence and experience in academic medical centers and private practice. His primary areas of teaching are in the areas of professional formation, ethical reasoning, moral agency among physical therapists and students. He was a member of a research team who took up the mantle to say, what is happening in physical therapy education? And it hadn't been done in really literally 50 years. So along with his colleagues, Gail Jensen, Jan Guire, Lori Hack, and Elizabeth Mustrom, they conducted this national study of physical therapist education and resulted in multiple papers as well as a book educating physical therapists. Dr. Nordstrom served as the founding member of the American Council of Academic Physical Therapy, also known as ACAPT, who has also been a partner and supporter of the fellowship program. He was a finance officer of the California Physical Therapy Association and served many APTA communities and task forces, including ethics and judicial. He's been a mentor in the fellowship in higher education for over 6 years, and he's also involved significantly in grant writing and education research, also called the GAMER program, not this one, since its inception in 2018. He is a Catherine Worthingham Fellow of the American Physical Therapy Association and a Senior Fellow and Scholar Retired of the National Academy of Practice. He was the APTA Academy of Education Pauli Sarasoli Lecturer in 2019. His loving family shares Terry with us to participate in this program, and it often conflicts with big family trips, and sometimes he's in the doghouse because he's with us. And we appreciate that Terry and his family has shared him with you and all the fellows before you to be mentored. I welcome Terry to the stage for a keynote address.
Thank you, Tara Jo. And I have to say, when I got that email from Agatha who said that you wanted me to do this, I freaked out. I was like, what? No, I can't. And then I relaxed and I said, can it only be 10 minutes? And then I relaxed and I said, okay, I can do this. And so thank you, I think. It's hard because I care so much about all of you. And it's important to me that this has meaning for you. If you know me, the waterworks come often and easily. It's my father was this way too. Anyway, so I'm guessing it was about 1.5 years ago that you decided to embark on this fellowship journey, or someone bought you a ticket and you didn't say no. So maybe you're a career planner, someone who has aspirations for a leadership position. Maybe you're a reluctant leader. Someone tapped you on the shoulder to fill a leadership position. They saw something in you. Or maybe they were desperate. I don't know. I hope not. They saw something in you and you said yes. Maybe you were an explorer, someone who wants to learn more about being a leader and leadership. These were the 3 typologies that Doctors Jetty, Majak, Peel, Grisham, and Moore and I discovered in our study of the graduates of the fellowship. I think we all recognize your journey in leadership doesn't stop tonight. And I heard that, and we heard that for these last 2 days. This is likely, and it is, a lifelong journey. So let's talk about this next phase of this journey. Whenever I go on a journey, I ask 3 questions after I decide where I want to go. First, what's the weather going to be like? When it's time to pack for a journey, I check my weather app. I need to know what the temperature is, what the humidity is, is it going to rain or snow or anything like that. So that's number 1. What's the weather? Secondly, given that, how much do I want to take with me? What do I want to pack? How little, usually, because what can I pick up along the way? And thirdly, who am I going to travel with? Am I going to go solo, or is it a journey made better by traveling with other people? So let's talk about those 3 questions and the next phase of your leadership journey. In terms of the weather, here's what I wonder about. It's what's the weather forecast in society, in higher education, in physical therapy education, and in health professions education. In 2017, my colleagues, Jan Guire, Lori Hack, Gail Jensen, and Elizabeth Mosterman, and I did a presentation at ELC called The Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, right? Critical challenges and opportunities in physical therapy education. We were joined on that presentation by Diane Jetty, Bill Boysenall, Becky Craik, and Sharon Dunn. It was a great fun. We based our presentation on a 2008 article in Academic Medicine by Albanese Mexicano group and on the four horsemen of the apocalypse in medical education. Our four horsemen at the time were insufficient clinical academic partnerships, shortage of qualified faculty, a slow response to societal needs, and risk-averse leadership. I was also lead author on a perspectives piece, Crisis as the Crucible for Change in Physical Therapy Education, with a whole team of people, Drs. Altenberg, Blackington, Dusinger, Hack, Jensen, Patel, Shapey, and Van Hoos. It's hard to write a paper with that many people, but I think it was a good paper. The crises that framed that paper were the COVID-19 pandemic and systemic racism. Our recommendation started with adoption of a curricular philosophy of social reconstruction, a deeper critical examination of the how and why of learning, and a strengthening of our integration for learning in the habits of the heart. This is not that talk. You can read that paper. So I'm thinking about bringing this out because maybe there's something about my personality that I think in terms of these crises, these apocalyptic horsemen galloping over the terrain. And I think what it is when I see and think that way, I think, opportunity, right? It's not gonna kill me. I'm gonna live through this. But it's really that opportunity to learn and change and grow. And, I see these dark clouds on the horizon, and I think we can rise to those challenges. And as I scan the weather today, I don't think we're in for bright, sunny, balmy weather. I think it's gonna be a bit rough. I don't know, anyone who read David Gann's new book, The Wager, yet? So talk about catastrophes. They leave on a ship in 1740 in England, headed around, they go to the Straits of Magellan. Everything that could go wrong went wrong, literally. The people that survived, it was amazing anyone survived that trip. That story offers a lot of lessons in hubris, leadership, and who controls the narrative controls the reality of history. So I don't think the weather forecast is as dire as what they faced, but I think we have to ask, what is it? So let's stick with that four horsemen metaphor. So what are those four horsemen? I could start talking about the four horsemen in the society, and I started thinking about that when I first started putting that together. I cut all of that out because it was far too depressing to me and scary, and I just said, nope, not gonna go there. You know what those four horsemen are. There's probably more. But I'm gonna start with the four horsemen in physical therapy education. Before I do that though, because there really is five, so let's talk about demography, because it is a factor that underlies some of what we see in society and in physical therapy education. There's a major demographic shift in the United States that continues to unfold. There are fewer people of traditional college-going age in the United States. That places more stress on traditional colleges and universities, particularly those that are more tuition dependent. This creates an incentive for more colleges and universities to develop health professions programs, including us, physical therapy, to provide more tuition revenue for them. We haven't seen this rate of growth in physical therapy education since the early 90s. As the younger members of our society are more racially and ethnically diverse than ever, there will be fewer applicants for more positions, for more open positions in programs, and those applicants will be more racially and ethnically diverse than ever before. So that's what underlies all of this. And I don't think I have to say this to this audience, and I will. Health professions programs, including us, have to immediately implement robust, holistic admissions to enroll more racially and ethnically diverse students, and must couple holistic admissions with a thorough examination of every policy and practice through the lens of student success. For under-resourced, historically minoritized students, for every health sciences school, college department program must create a culture in which everyone has a real sense of belonging and experiences a commitment to their success. So that's that underpinning. What are those four horsemen? I think 3 of the 4 from 2017 are still there. And there's I think there's one other that's changed. So the first, shortage of qualified faculty. There are far too few faculty who have the necessary content expertise and the expertise in the learning sciences who can effectively design and deliver an effective curriculum. We're at great risk that graduates are not well prepared to meet the demands of clinical practice and the people in the community in which they work. The increasing number of programs means even more competition for highly sought-after qualified faculty, thus diluting the pool of qualified faculty across all programs, increasing the risk to the profession to meet society's needs. So that's the first one. The second horseman is slow response to societal needs among our programs. And since 2017, there have been some major strides made in physical therapy programs in reorienting their mission to meet the needs of the community and society they serve. There's a growing number of programs with advocates for the importance of public health approaches and community-centered planning and services. There are more programs that are reorienting their curriculum around developing habits of the heart as the integrating metaphoric apprenticeship in professional education. My sense, though, is that there are too many faculty who are so laser-focused on their content and who do not see themselves as a member of a team of faculty who have shared responsibility for the curriculum. They are blind to the importance of the social determinants of health and the profession's role in meeting societal and community health needs. I think the third horseman is risk-averse leadership is continuing to be an issue. There are leaders who are willing to take risks and innovate and drive excellence. Many of the people in this room, everyone in this room, I heard it all throughout the year. Otherwise, we would not see the progress that we are in some programs. However, we have leaders who are steadfastly focused on CAPTA accreditation as the most important marker of excellence. As a result, efforts to increase racial and ethnic diversity are met with resistance and fear that the program will become less selective, students will have greater learning needs that they're unwilling or unable to support, and graduation and licensure pass rates will fall. Thus, the program's appeal to potential applicants will drop in their minds. And honestly, the recent SCOTUS decision on race-conscious admission only reinforced their fears, unfortunately, and their resistance, I think, would grow. We have leaders who struggle to have critical conversations with underperforming faculty who undermine student learning and success. These faculty need mentoring and support so that they can become more successful, or they need to be counseled out. This leadership fellowship is awesome in developing true, courageous, effective leaders. I'm not talking about you. You are ready and can and will and are doing this. Unfortunately, in my mind, this fellowship is not sufficient. It's not operating at the scale it needs to meet these demands. Choosing the fourth horseman was kind of a tough one for me. I thought about this clinical academic partnership, which was our original one, and I'm going to say now I think the fourth horseman is a lack of consensus on expected graduate outcomes and no robust system to collect, analyze, report, and learn from those outcomes across the academic enterprise. This is the horseman that I'm most confident we're going to solve soon. The movement in competency-based education is growing stronger. It has the support of the key stakeholders in the profession. We have models from other health professions to learn from. A few of you in the room are playing key roles in that effort. I think this one's going to be, that horseman's going to dismount or dissolve. I don't know what happened to the four horsemen of the apocalypse, but that one I think we're going to conquer that one. So I've touched on some wicked programs. These are complex, tough problems. I haven't even talked about recalcitrant deans and provosts who have poor leadership skills, faculty members who aren't willing to be effective team members, students who, despite their best efforts and intent, just not ready to succeed. Those are the other things. There is that tenuous nature of the academic clinical partnership. So that's the weather forecast. That's what we're walking into. I'm not going to talk about solutions to those. I'm going to focus on how you sustain yourself for the long haul of your leadership journey. What is it you need to pack, given that weather forecast. First, you have to choose the right luggage, right? Whether it's a backpack, a 4-roller, a 2-roller, a duffel bag, a check-in, whatever it is, you got to choose the right luggage. I would say your mindset, your attitude serve as that ideal luggage. Charles Swindoll wrote a well-known quote about attitude. The chair of our doctoral program, or my doctoral program at USF, gave it all to us on the first day we started that program. He concluded in that long statement, the remarkable thing is we have a choice every day regarding the attitude we will embrace for that day. We cannot change our past. We cannot change the fact that people will act in a certain way. We cannot change the inevitable. The only thing we can do is play on the one string we have, and that's our attitude. Your suitcase, your way of being, requires mindfulness and letting go of judgment, both about yourself and of others. I saw a counselor for many, many years, especially when I was a chair. Just a hint. We often talked about who was sitting at my table, whose voices I heard in my head as I encountered life. I had a critic, I had a wizard, I had a gnome, it was kind of impish. My mother was there, to name a few. Whoever it is that you have invited or who just showed up at your table, those are those voices who help you through life. It's important to recognize their voices for who they and what they are. They're just your mind at work. My intent, whenever my critic got really noisy, is to say, oh, there goes my critic again. Isn't that interesting? No judgment, just acknowledgement. And then I had a touch of gratitude that my mind is so powerful that I can create all those stories and have all those voices. I'm like, okay, thank you, mind. Now you can please be quiet. But mindfulness without judgment is part of what comprises your luggage. So you have your luggage ready. Now it's time to pack. I really hate packing. I don't know, maybe that's why I read all those articles about what to pack, how to fit everything in a carry-on, all that stuff. I love those things. So we're going to talk about, think of this as kind of one of those articles. What are you going to pack? So I'm going to say first, you go to your drawer where you keep your vulnerability. And you grab a big bunch of it. It isn't very big. In fact, it's very, very tiny, but mighty. So it doesn't take much space. It's essential to your leadership journey. You find this work on vulnerability in Amy Edmondson's work on psychological safety and on teaming. It's all over Brené Brown's work. It's in Jody Gittle's work on relational coordination. It's in the Master Adaptive Learner model. It's everywhere. So you gotta have that vulnerability. It emerged as the key to unlocking effective leadership in all of their work. It's admitting and owning your own mistakes. It's asking for help, to say you don't know, to say, wow, did I blow that one? Or, I hadn't thought of that, thanks for that idea. I appreciate how you are taking our conversation in an important direction that I hadn't considered. Your team members will be more willing to be there with you when confronting uncertainty and take risks when you share feelings and senses of vulnerability. There's a huge, huge caveat though. When and if you find yourself in a situation where you do not feel psychologically safe, it's not advisable or possible to show, or wise, to show your vulnerability. If that's the case, I wouldn't expect you to do that. So while vulnerability takes courage and self-awareness, you can't be courageous if you don't feel psychologically safe. So give yourself that space. If you find yourself in a territory in which it doesn't feel safe, where there is low trust among people, where there's minimal to no respect for each other, person on the team, then maybe it's time to choose a different route. And though I realize there are times when that journey is more like a train, those train tracks go where they're going. You can't get off. And in those cases, I think what it is to find the fellow passengers with you, who you can be your allies, who can be your companions, who you can form a partnership to navigate that rough part of your journey. You have a better chance of changing the climate to create a safe environment when you're part of a team of like-minded people with similar values and intentions. So you have your invulnerability in there. I wish I could say you could pack trust, but the reality is that trust is created through integrity, through reliable behaviors, and through respect for yourself and other people. It comes from the environment in which you work. You can be a trusting person all you want, but it takes a village to create trust. So yes, pact your trust, but realize that you and everyone else have to bring theirs as well, along with their integrity, along with their respect. And if they left these home, then if they left them home, didn't pack them, then again, create that community where you can build that trust with other people. So next I'd go to your treasure chest and pull out your curiosity. My image of curiosity is like a magic cloak or a magic wizard's hat. So you can roll it up. It doesn't get wrinkled, easy to pack, plenty of room. Curiosity needs to be in the right kind of luggage though, the one that I spoke about earlier, a mindfulness luggage. Because it requires letting go of that judgment, opening your mindset. Otherwise it can't get out and get to work. But if the luggage is right, when we find ourselves feeling uncertain or in an unfamiliar place, we ask, what's going on here? What's this about? It's that source of that open mindset that lets us engage with discovery. Curiosity is one of the batteries of learning in the Master Adaptive Learning model. If we acknowledge we are all works in progress with capacity to grow and change through our entire life, then curiosity works its magic in learning and growing. Third, I'd go to get my hope. And I go to that cupboard, pull it out. Maybe it's a squishy, soft pillow, I don't know. What's your image of hope? Brene Brown said, we experience hope when we set realistic goals, we figure out how to meet those goals, including being flexible when things go off track, and when we believe in ourselves. Repeat, when we believe in ourselves. When we feel like an imposter, we shrug, we say, oh, there I am feeling like an imposter again. I wonder what's going on that's causing me to feel this way. Interesting. Because it is something that's going on around you. It's not you. It's what's going on around you that elicits that sense, I think. She goes on to say, we develop hope through adversity when we are tested, when we are uncomfortable. It's also important to recognize that when there are systematic barriers that are blocking your path towards those realistic goals, when you begin to sense that something is in your way, all of the hope in the world isn't going to suffice. It's not enough. It's time to address those barriers. And that's where you go back, you gather your crowd around you, your allies, and you start to address those barriers. The last thing I want to talk about, packing is the most important, and it's love. In 2022, I attended a virtual session that Creighton did on innovation in the health professions. Ruth Portillo was on the panel with Kevin Fitzgerald and Kevin Burke. They were talking about creating a moral community and the idea of a common good. It was a really rich, stimulating conversation. During the discussion, the idea of our human connection came up, and they talked about compassion and caring and our social responsibility. Ruth started to muse, as she does, and began by asking, I wonder, what's love got to do with it? That stopped me in my tracks. And that I just done. Whoa. Of course I heard Tina Turner, but I just stopped. And I was like, wow. And Ruth is someone I just totally look up to. She is one of my role models in the profession. She started to talk about, in that discussion, about how love is usually wrapped up in romantic notions, which is not a bad thing. But she went on to describe how love might be a way of being and also a call to action. What she said struck with me. It struck such a chord, it stuck with me. And then about 6 months later, I noticed that Bell Hooks' book, All About Love, New Visions, was on the top of the bestseller list in the San Francisco Chronicle. I was like, really? That book was written a long time ago. This was like a year and a half after Bell Hooks had passed. I was like, what's that book doing there? And I was like, and I'd been thinking still about Ruth's talk and what she had said. And I was like, I got to read that book. There's something going on. So it's curious and heartening that people are buying it. I thought, isn't that awesome? And I hope they're buying it and reading it. But there was a startling connection that she made with Ruth's statement. And she said, what's love got to do with it? When Ruth said that, it told me, yeah, read that book. Bell Hooks recognizes that we are bombarded by love's failures in political, religious, in families. We see little indication that love informs decisions, strengthens our understanding of community, or keeps us together. Despite that, we do not give up. We believe in its power. So let's look at why love is the first thing you bring with you on your leadership journey, and that's why I saved it for last. I recently read Brene Brown's Atlas of the Heart. Bell Hooks' work is all over that in her when she's talking about love. And there's no way I can do justice to those two brilliant women. But they both acknowledge that affection is important, but they also insist that we have to go beyond affection. Bell Hooks wrote, "To truly love, we must learn to mix various ingredients: care, affection, recognition, respect, commitment, and trust, as well as honest and open communication. Love is an intention and an action. We don't have to love. We choose to love. We make the choice to nurture growth." These don't sound like radical ideas. I noticed when I was reading them, I was nodding my head. Of course. Where it gets radical when you read her work is when she starts talking about bringing love to the workplace and into the movement for social justice. First, the workplace. She wrote, "Throughout my life, I have endeavored to not only do work I enjoy, but to work with individuals I respect, like, or love. When I first declared my desire to work in a loving environment, friends acted as though I had truly lost my mind. To them, love and work did not go together. But I was convinced that I would work better in a work environment shaped by an ethic of love." She goes on to say, more people now embrace that idea that work enhances our spiritual well-being and strengthens our capacity to love. When we work with love, we create a loving work environment. Our work is immediately related to our well-being, including and importantly, our sense of self-worth. Bringing love into work can be transformative for yourself and for the people you work with. By focusing not just on the outcomes, but importantly, the how and the why. And doing so, those ingredients, care, affection, recognition, commitment, respect, and trust, we unite our thinking and feeling and our actions in a loving work community. When looking outside work, Bell Hooks asserts that all great movements for social justice are grounded in an ethic of love. And I think that's what Ruth Portillo was talking about. I know she's read that book. I just know that. I haven't asked her, I just know it. One only need look back as far as Martin Luther King's work on creating the beloved community to see how that ethic of love works in a social justice environment. It's a call for action. It has the potential to bring transformation, both personal and societal. I had an interesting text exchange, because that's how we communicate nowadays, with my daughter-in-law about some racial and gender-based injustices she was facing. It's like, really, on a text? I was like, really, we're doing this on text? Anyway, having just finished that book, all about love, I brought up the importance of love in the face of racism and social injustice. And she interpreted my emphasis on the power of love in how we approach these injustices being like the all you need is love, kumbaya thing. And I assured her that's not what I meant. That an ethic of love, again, is about that call to action. However, we both agreed, and this is also important, that when we know something is wrong, that someone or some people are being wronged, that we are facing injustices, we need anger as a strong motivator for action. Our ethic of love does and can spring out of that anger to bring about a more loving community. So we've taken our luggage off the shelf, it's all packed, and now who are we traveling with? While solo travel can be fun and exciting, I think any journey through the terrain in society and higher education you're traversing calls for a lot of companionship. So look around the room. These are your traveling companions. Every one of us is ready to extend a hand, our full attention and our hearts to give you the support you need. You also have colleagues and mentors who are standing ready to do the same. I heard it earlier today. We are not alone. You are not alone. You have the ability to create a team of trusting, respectful coworkers who can become part of a psychologically safe environment in which you all thrive and can take on those four horsemen. Despite what some of you may feel, you are never alone. So in conclusion, despite those 4 or 8 or 5 or 6, however many horsemen it is, that loom over your journey, the travel is worth it. You're well prepared. You have everything you need. You have everything you need to continue to learn and grow during your leadership journey. You also have all the time you need. Your luggage, your way of being, is comprised of that mindfulness and letting go of judgment, both about yourself and others. You've packed your suitcase with vulnerability, curiosity, hope, and love. You've selected your travel companions who you trust and respect, and who trust and respect you. You're ready. When I look around this room, I'm confident our profession is in the best possible hands. I should do that again. When I look around this room, I am confident that our profession is in the best possible hands. Thank you.
Thank you,
All right.
Terry. We love you. This is taking us to our break, and we're going to take a break, and we're going to resume with our recognition ceremony at 6:30. So please take a break and be back at 6:30.
For anyone who wants individual photos outside on the terrace while it's still daylight, our
Welcome back, everyone. We would like to begin our recognition ceremony for our APTA Fellowship in Higher Education Leadership graduates. Before we begin recognizing our graduates, we would like to take a moment to recognize your mentors. So as each mentor's name is called, please come to the front and receive a recognition of your hard work, in preparation also for you to join your fellow graduates as they receive their graduation certificate. So we'll ask each mentor to come up, and then please stay here after you come up, and we're going to position you here so that you can join your fellows as they graduate.
Terry Nordstrom.
Thank you.
Just put it on the counter right there.
Stanley Wilson.
Thank you.
Mike Majak. Kim Bernardo. Amy Garrigous.
And I would also like to acknowledge Barb Grisham, who cannot make it here due to a family situation. So we want to acknowledge her and thank her as well for her wonderful mentorship. We've reached the graduation recognition. The moment you pause, as Terry suggested, pause in the moment and recognize your own accomplishment while we congratulate you on this achievement. You will now become part of a prestigious group of only 225 fellow graduates who have been mentored and taught by highly qualified educational leaders, been supported by experienced academic administrators, and have created these amazing peer networks to enhance both your future and the future of our profession. Tonight, we celebrate all of you, unique and talented individuals, dedicated and driven to advance our profession. We will all benefit from what you have learned and the potential you have actualized, and we know more is yet to come. Thank you all for your commitment, and congratulations on becoming a graduate fellow of the APTA Fellowship in Higher Education Leadership.
Laurel Daniels Abarusi, PT, EDD, Fellow of the National Academies of Practice.
Your mentors. And mentors, please join.
Ayodele Akinremi, PT, MSc, MHS, PhD, member, Ireland Society of Chartered Physiotherapists, certified cardiac rehab professional. Carl Bergman, PT, SCD, board certified orthopedic clinical specialist, certified in orthopedic manual therapy, certified strength and conditioning specialist. Jennifer Blackwood, PT, PhD, board certified geriatric clinical specialist. Karen Cook, PT, DPT, board certified orthopedic clinical specialist. Janet Dalot, PT, DPT, DRPH. Mary I. Fisher, PT, MSPT, PhD. Jaime Gonzalez, PT, DPT, PhD candidate, board certified clinical specialist in orthopedic and sports physical therapy. Laura Graz, PT, DPT, DSC. Alvaro N. Gurovich, PT, PhD, Fellow of the American College of Sports Medicine. Kelly Harper Hannigan, PT, DPT, PhD, Certified Healthcare Simulation Educator, Wound Care Certification, Board Certified Geriatric Clinical Specialist. Shayna Harrington, PT, PhD. Tiffany Hilton, PT, PhD. Renee M. Huth, PT, DPT, PhD. Stephen Jernigan, PT, PhD, Fellow of the National Academies of Practice. Chad Larimore, PT, PhD, Fellow of the National Academies of Practice, Board Certified Geriatric Clinical Specialist. Daniel J. Lee, PT, DPT, PhD, Board Certified Geriatric and Orthopedic Clinical Specialist, Certified Orthopedic Manual Therapist. Julian L. McGee, PT, DPT, ATC. Jana McGaw, PT, SCD. Daphne Pirella, PT, BPT, MPT. Julie Peterson, PT, DPT, EDD. Melissa Peterson, PT, PhD. Margaret Wazinski Reynolds, PT, DPT, EDD. Jill Seal, PT, PhD. Stephanie Shaby, PT, DPT, Board Certified Orthopedic Clinical Specialist. Brian Swanson, PT, DSC, Board Certified Orthopedic Clinical Specialist, Fellow of the American Academy of Orthopedic Manual Physical Therapists. Tracy A. Thomas, PT, DPT, PhD. Ralph R. Utzman, PT, MPH, PhD. Tasha Womack, PT, DPT, MPA, Board Certified Geriatric Clinical Specialist. Ladarius Woods, PT, DPT, PhD. Farrell York, PTA, BS, MSL.
A final round of applause for our 2022-2023 APTA Fellowship in Higher Education Leadership graduates. This concludes our recognition ceremony. Congratulations to all of you, and thank you for coming, and thank you at home for watching. Good night.
So everyone, there is a buffet dinner